Paul Rosenblum is a bookkeeper, not an accountant or a CPA. Although the information in this podcast comes from professionals, it's meant to give you enough knowledge about these subjects to have a meaningful dialogue with your tax preparer about bookkeeping and taxes.
It's Father's Day as I write this episode, and I just got back from vacation yesterday. But don't worry, this is not a vacation episode like last year. Nothing really to report on financially with this vacation. We were pleasantly surprised to get just about what we expected. However, when I get back from vacation in June most of the time, it goes into a period of time that this year will start on June 16 and go right through the summer, although I will take some time off in July and August. But when I'm in the office, I will get as much done as efficiently as possible so that I can go into Labor Day in good shape. For you bookkeepers listening to this episode, I'm sharing the way I work in the summer. For you small business owners, I'm talking about how accessible I am to my clients over the summer, even though clients and many tax preparers and even many bookkeepers take much time away from their offices. I use the quieter time for some serious work as well as enjoying the summer the best I can. So this episode is about the summer projects in addition to my monthly bookkeeping work. And the goal is to get it all done by Labor Day when everything gets a little faster. It's almost like Double-A baseball in the minor leagues and then getting promoted to Triple-A where everything is faster, and then tax season is equivalent to the major leagues. Yes, it's June, and I'm talking about tax season already. Don't forget, take a look at the YouTube channel, and if you want to contribute to this pod, check out the link in the notes here. And, oh yes, I'm still Paul Rosenblum. Aside from my monthly bookkeeping duties, I have books to finish from business owners who wanted to be on extension in March and April of this year. I also have a total of 4 projects to finish by the end of August or early September. This is why the summer is as busy or busier in some ways than most other times of the year for me. Project number 1. I have 2 more years to input for a client who I have spoken about before here. 2 credit cards and 4 bank accounts, and a tax return was just filed for about 3 years ago with a new accountant. After everything was input, the new CPA had only a handful of adjustments and changes that I had to make to the books. I have already input about half of what needs to be done to catch the client up to June of 2025. I hope to get all of that done this summer, hopefully sometime in August. I will follow the same pattern as in previous years, knowing that the client will go through the entire profit and loss in detail with me and let me know what to make changes to. Mostly personal meals versus business meals at the same restaurant, and travel destinations that included bringing the family. Some expenses are business, others are personal, so we separate them appropriately. Business meals on the profit and loss, personal meals on the balance sheet in the equity section. In this case, there are mortgages being paid not only from business accounts, but from personal accounts that I don't track, since they would be 90 to 95% real personal expenses. So when everything is done, I have to check to see to make sure that there are 12 payments made for 2 different mortgages. If there aren't, then I have to check them against the end-of-year statements from the mortgage company. Even if they are paid from the personal account that I'm not tracking, that transaction or those transactions have to be entered in the equity section of the books, which in this case represents the incoming rent and the expenses for each property that the couple owns under different LLCs. As I have mentioned in other episodes, there should be 3 separate sets of books here, one for each property and one for the business that I'm tracking and the main purpose of the set of books that I am creating. I also check to see if there are 12 payments from tenants of the properties for the year, and if there are not, then the funds could have been put into a personal account that I don't track. The moral of this: separate bank accounts and credit cards for each business that you have if you have multiple businesses, and separate your personal expenses from your business expenses. Project number 2, a smaller project of a business that just started up and made their first sale this year. I can probably do this one in 1 or 2 days, but it's slow, careful work because the business is being run from an investment account, which has so many other different kinds of transactions in it that has nothing to do at all with the business. So this will be a lot of questions back and forth. There's not much more to say about this one, but I can say that there are some people who have businesses who really shouldn't. Project number 3. This one I have spoken about before as well. The company started in 2018, and they know the books have been very bad ever since. The tax service that they were using put together the books in a minimal way and filing tax returns. I will be spending a lot of time this summer on this project. The company does their taxes in accrual accounting, and I must still figure out how to deal with that in the books. Once everything is entered, I can always go back to the tax returns and match up numbers by making journal entries in the books. That counts for the accounts payable and the accounts receivable. This project will be very similar to what my father did for many years. Nothing to do with bookkeeping, by the way. He was a film editor. Some bookkeeping has a lot of similar editing components. Yes, there's a right way and a wrong way, but in some cases, there's more than one right way of getting the numbers in correctly. I'm going to start this project with QuickBooks Desktop, and we can always convert to the online version if the client wants to or needed to. Project number 4. I've also spoken about this one before, but another 3 years to do to get the client up to date to June of 2025. Similar to project number 1 with several credit cards and several bank accounts, and since now one company is closed, we are combining a small amount of income from that company in the company that I'm putting together a set of books for now. I have about 50% entered so far, and again, I'll follow the same pattern to get them up to date. And then we will go over all the categories together. I also have a client who is very late getting me what I need to put their books together properly. It's a hair salon. The owner hasn't gotten back to me with lots of questions that I have, although everything is input through April of 2025, and they haven't gotten back to me with petty cash expenses all the way back from January of 2025. So I have catch up on work there as well. And I just have to say that retail operations are very difficult bookkeeping-wise. There are lots of cash sales that might not be recorded in the point of sale system, but the cash is being spent on expenses for the company. The bottom line is that they are getting deductions for the expenses, but not counting the cash income. So I push clients like that to get them to admit that particular cash sales did not get counted as income, but the cash was spent on deductible expenses. Can't do that. The money that is spent has to come from either sales or revenue or investment money from the business owner or from someone else. So this project is 12 months a year, monthly bookkeeping, not only in the summer months. I also read recently in Facebook posts in a bookkeeper's message base that several people complained that they can never seem to reconcile the bank account to the Square account. And Square is a POS system, by the way. The cash issue is one reason. The other reason is usually how the client originally set up the Square POS categories and items. At the end of the year, I adjust the books to the total sales that Square says happened if they are higher than I'm showing in the books. You can do that monthly as well if you'd like. And some people think bookkeeping is only about categories and data entry. Nope, it's a lot more than that. It's careful, sometimes tedious work. And I will digress a little bit here. When a large project is being done, and I feel like I have control of it, and I have a game plan to move forward, my initial anxiety about it goes down from what was originally an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 to a 2 on that same scale. So when I feel like I have control of these projects, it's almost like a moment of zen that Jon Stewart ends his Monday evening show with. I'm also going to include a client who is expanding the business to a second location, but because the owner is in the medical field, the second location has to be the same LLC because of the certifications that are involved that can't be transferred or added to another company even with the same owner. The bank statements are 25 pages long now. They might be 40 or 45 pages long, and I enter the data manually in QuickBooks Desktop. So yes, the pool is waiting for me this summer, and I'll be there. However, when I'm in the office, I'll be working fast and hard to get everything that I have on my plate done before Labor Day. I have talked about walking away from clients, which I have done, so the amount of monthly bookkeeping has gotten a bit smaller, which allow me to take on interesting projects to do over the summer months. So that's my summer ahead bookkeeping-wise, except for a death in the family and many things that have to be done that aren't, unfortunately, local. But I'll be bringing work with me when I'm dealing with all of that out of state because I still want to finish things by the end of August so that I can start September on solid footing. Be in your podcast devices soon. I'm Paul Rosenblum.